crush isn't ignoring you because you're not attractive enough. They're not ignoring you because you said the wrong thing in that text. They're not ignoring you because they just don't see you that way. They're ignoring you because of one invisible signal you've been sending without realizing it. And once I show you what it is, you're going to see it everywhere, in your texts, in your body language, in the way you walk into a room. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's pushing them away, why it's happening, and the one mindset shift that flips the entire dynamic, sometimes in less than a week. But fair warning, this is going to sting before it helps. Stay with me. You know the feeling. You see their name pop up on your screen, and your whole nervous system lights up. You read their message 6 times, trying to decode it. You type a reply, delete it, retype it, delete it again. You finally send something, and then you stare at your phone like it owes you money. And then, nothing. Or worse, they reply hours later with one word. LOL. Yeah. Haha. You see them in person and they're friendly enough, but there's a wall. They never lean in. They never start the conversation. They never reach for you the way you reach for them. And you're stuck in this loop of almost. Almost something. Almost a chance. Almost mattering to them. It's exhausting. And the worst part? You can't tell if you should try harder or give up. I'm going to tell you why. And it's not what your friends have been telling you. Here's the advice you've been getting. Just be yourself. Be more confident. Show them you care. Make the first move. Compliment them more. All of it is wrong. Not slightly wrong. Completely wrong. Because every single one of those tips assumes the problem is that you're not doing enough, that you need to add more effort, more attention, more presence, more compliments. But the actual problem isn't that you're doing too little. It's that you're doing too much of the wrong thing. And here's where it gets interesting. Because what you're doing too much of isn't even a behavior. It's a frequency, an energy, a signal your nervous system is broadcasting every time you interact with them. Let me break down what it actually is. There's a psychological principle called reactance. It was first identified in the 1960s by a researcher named Jack Brem, and it describes something fascinating about human behavior. When people sense that someone else needs a specific response from them, needs them to text back, needs them to smile, needs them to like them, their nervous system reads it as pressure. And the human response to pressure is almost always the same. Withdrawal. It doesn't matter how subtle the pressure is. It doesn't matter if you've never said anything desperate. The human nervous system is calibrated to detect emotional weight in micro-signals. How long you hold eye contact, how quickly you reply, the energy in your voice when you say their name, the way you slightly overlaugh at their jokes. Your crush isn't consciously thinking, this person needs me too much. They're feeling it in their body. And their body is telling them, back away. This is why the people who chase the hardest get ignored the most. Not because they're doing something wrong on the surface, but because their underlying energy is screaming, please pick me, and that energy is poison to attraction. You're not being rejected. You're being avoided because you've accidentally made yourself emotionally expensive to interact with. Now here's the part nobody talks about. Why does this happen in the first place? Because somewhere along the way, you decided that they were special, not just attractive, not just interesting, special. Like, in the entire pool of humans you could connect with, this one person became elevated, different, higher value than you. And the moment you did that, the moment you put them on a pedestal, you created an imbalance. You became the one who needs. They became the one who decides. And humans are wired to be repelled by imbalance. Think about it from their perspective. Suddenly there's this person who lights up when they walk by, who texts a little too eagerly, who laughs a little too loud at their jokes, who's available in a way that feels slightly off. They're not thinking, wow, this person likes me, how flattering. They're thinking, even subconsciously, why does this person need me to be the answer? They don't even know me yet. And that question, that subconscious question, is what kills attraction every time. Attraction isn't built on availability. It's built on mutual curiosity, between two people who don't need each other to feel whole. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Jordan. Jordan had a crush on a girl in his class for almost a year. He did everything right. He learned her schedule. He liked her posts within minutes. He always said hi. He made sure to bring up topics he knew she liked. He even adjusted his sense of humor to match hers. And she was always polite, friendly even. But she never reached back, never initiated, never gave him more than 30 seconds before she'd glance at her phone or find a reason to leave. Jordan was confused. He was doing everything the internet told him to do. He was being attentive. He was being kind. He was being interested. Then one day, Jordan got into something new, a side project, something that had nothing to do with her, nothing to do with dating, nothing to do with proving anything to anyone. He got obsessed with it. He stopped checking her stories. He stopped strategizing about how to bump into her. He just got busy with his own life. 3 weeks later, she texted him first. Not because he played a game, not because he ignored her on purpose, but because for the first time, the energy he was bringing into the room wasn't, "I need you to notice me." It was, "I'm doing something interesting, and you can come watch if you want." That's the difference. That's the whole game. So here's the shift. And it's going to sound brutal at first, but it's the most freeing thing you'll ever do. Stop trying to get them to like you. Start becoming someone whose attention is worth earning. Most people approach their crush from below, looking up, hoping to be chosen, hoping to be enough. The shift is moving sideways. You're not beneath them. You're not above them. You're a full human being with a real life, real interests, real standards. They're just someone who caught your eye. That's it. That's the reframe. And the moment you genuinely internalize that, not as a strategy, but as a truth, 3 things start happening almost immediately. 1. Your communication changes. Your texts get shorter, calmer, more interesting. You stop double texting. You stop over-explaining. You stop performing. You start sounding like a person instead of a fan. 2. Your body language transforms. You stop leaning in. You stop over-smiling. You stop angling yourself toward them in every interaction. You become still, grounded. And stillness, real internal stillness, is one of the most magnetic things a human can radiate. 3. They feel it. They always do. The human nervous system is unbelievably sensitive to shifts in social energy. The second you stop chasing, they feel it in their body before they understand it, in their head. And the curiosity kicks in. Wait. Why aren't they texting like before? Why didn't they laugh at that joke? Why did they leave the conversation first? That curiosity. That's where attraction lives. And here's how I know this is true. Because you've already lived it. From the other side. Think about every person who's ever had a crush on you when you didn't feel the same way. What did they do? They tried. They tried hard. They were available. They were attentive. They laughed at all your jokes. They were always around. And how did it make you feel? Suffocated. A little uncomfortable. You started avoiding them, even though they hadn't done anything wrong. Now think about the people who you ended up actually being interested in. What were they doing? Probably not much. They were just living their lives. They had their own thing going on. They gave you attention, but they didn't need your attention. And that's exactly what made you lean in. You already know the formula. You've been on the receiving end of it your whole life. The question isn't whether it works. The question is whether you're willing to apply it to yourself. Now I can already hear the pushback. But if I stop trying, won't they just forget about me? No. Here's why. You're not disappearing. You're not playing games. You're not being cold. You're just removing the desperation frequency from the interaction. You can still smile at them, still be warm, still talk to them when you cross paths. The shift isn't in your behavior. It's in your internal state. Externally, you might look almost the same. Internally, you're a completely different person, and they will feel that difference within a week. Because here's the thing about attraction. It's not built on what you do. It's built on what you don't need to do. So here's exactly what to do, starting tonight. Step 1. Unfollow the fantasy. Not them. The fantasy of them. The version of them that lives in your head, where everything works out and they finally choose you and your life makes sense. That fantasy is what's keeping you stuck. It's what's making your nervous system grip so tight. Let it go. Step 2. Cut your check-in behavior in half. However many times a day you look at their story, check their last scene, refresh their socials, cut it in half. Not to 0, just in half. You're retraining your brain to stop using them as a dopamine slot machine. Step 3. Pour the energy somewhere else. Anywhere else. The gym, a skill, a creative project, a friend you've been neglecting. Build something in your life that has nothing to do with them. Because the moment your life stops revolving around their response will change. Every time. Step 4. When you do interact with them, be fully present, then be the first one to leave. Not in a dramatic way. Just have somewhere else to be. Have a life that's pulling you somewhere. That's the most attractive thing in the world. And here's the part most people miss. This isn't really about your crush. This is about the relationship you have with yourself. Because the only reason any of this is hard is that somewhere inside, you don't fully believe you're enough on your own. You're using their attention as evidence that you matter. The mindset shift isn't a trick to make them like you. It's a return to actually being okay without them. And the wild thing is, the moment you genuinely don't need them, you become the kind of person they can't stop thinking about. That's not manipulation. That's just how humans work. If any of this hit, you already know what to do. Subscribe, because the next video is the exact texting pattern that makes someone reach for their phone first. The psychology behind why some messages get instant replies and others get left on read for 3 days. It pairs with this one perfectly. And drop a comment with the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the action step that hit hardest. I read them all. I'll see you in the next one.